Says the Tanya. So we said the difference between depression and bitterness. Depression is when you feel broken and you're desensitized and you're so sad for what happened, and therefore you fall apart. You become paralyzed. You just don't know what to do with yourself. But then that's bad. That's from klipa. That's from the other side, evil side. But we want to sometimes use bitterness. Sometimes it's good to have bitterness, because bitterness is I feel bad for what I did. I feel bad for the sins I did, and that's going to recharge me, motivate me to do the right thing. You know, like you tell a guy, come on, what's with you? 3-4 days, you missed nets. Oh, what's going to be with you? The guy says, yeah, you know what? You're right. He feels bitter with himself, but it's positive because it's going to come out something positive from this. He's going to do teshuvah. So that's the depression, that's sadness that's connected to the holy side, and that's recommended for a short amount of time, and then it's supposed to spur you into doing teshuvah. Okay. And so we said that this kind of bitterness is from the gevurot, the kedushot. It's from the holy energy of gevura, holy gevura, harshness, holy harshness. And simcha mechinat chasadim, and in joy, you always have to do the mitzvot with joy. The Arizal says everything he gained in spirituality is from this, that he used to do mitzvot with joy. So he says that comes from chesed. That ki alev kalul mishtain, because the heart contains both. You know, interesting. The heart has two sides, right? Two ventricles, right? It represents how a person has to be combined of two things, of chesed and gevura. You need to have the balance. Everything in life is about balance. Can't be too extreme. You know, sometimes also when people argue, listen, why do you say this? It's not nice. Oh, you know what? I'm not gonna say anything anymore. That's it. I'm not gonna say anything. I give up. No, don't be extreme. Well, only this. Either full power or zero power. No, you have to have balance. Wait, every time you get in the car, you drive only 100 or 0? No, you go up and down. There's balance each time for its own situation. So therefore, a person has to have a mix of chesed and gevura, and that's called tiferet, splendor, beauty, beautiful. Balance makes everything beautiful. What is? A lot of people say, what is beautiful? A lot of people like automatically things that are symmetrical, things that are equal on both sides. It's even. It's not like lopsided. Everything looks like in proportion. That looks beautiful. So therefore, a person has to have proportion and beauty and balance to have a beautiful life. And even though usually we try to stay away from gevura, right, because it's so severe, it's very intense, to be very strict, still we need to use holy gevura to make the judgments sweetened, which means that when a person gets bitter with himself a little bit, right? Let's say you have a tree, right? It's growing wrong. It's crooked. So you gotta take a very strong rope and pull it and then put it into the ground. That way the tree will stay and grow straight. So sometimes a person is veering off the path. You know, he's not doing the right things. And now there's judgment on him. Oh, bad things are gonna happen to you because you're doing sins. So how are you gonna sweeten these judgments? You gotta sweeten them. I don't want them to judge me. I don't want them to hurt me. So I sweeten them by being judgmental on myself. By bringing gevura, before they put the gevura on me, I bring the gevura on myself by being bitter with myself, saying, what's wrong with me? I gotta get myself together. How could I fall apart? How could I do that? Can I do this? Now, this is annoying and severe and pretty intense, but it's only for the time being. It's just for a few moments, so I could do teshuvah. And once they see in Shemaim that I'm judging myself and I'm spurring myself to do teshuvah, so then Hashem says, I don't have to make him suffer to get the point across. He already has the point. He already got it. He already knows what to do. So therefore, you sweeten the judgments by dabbling into this bitterness of being negative with yourself for a little time being, right? Okay, fine. So therefore, that's called sweetening the judgments. Now, Hashem b'chinat nefesh ba'amid v'yetzara. You know, also they say, the Baalei Musar say that when you study halakha is like din. Halakha is judgment, right? This is right, this is wrong, right? And then a lot of times when you only study that all day, so it could be very judgmental, and it also attaches you to gevura. You're infusing yourself with a lot of gevura, like you're very, very, you know, you become very, everything has to be a certain way. What do you mean? Why is everybody so wrong? You know, the worst thing, one of the most difficult feelings is you have a whole shiur, you learn about this, how important it is, and then you just right away see people not doing it. You're like, what's wrong with everybody? Why are they not doing it? So it's a lot of gevura. You get infused with a lot of gevura, a lot of severity, a lot of judgment and judgmentalness. So therefore, what do they say? You have to also study a little bit of Chassidut. You have to study a little bit of Kabbalah, which means it represents Chesed. Like you learn it, and it's like about the greatness of Hashem, the greatness of the Jewish people, the hidden secrets of the Torah, and it enlightens you, and you look at the world differently, and it sweetens that outlook that you would have had of severity. It sweetens the judgments. So therefore, it's good to have a balance in how you look at the other world. These judgments and holy gevura, that's from the side of the holiness, but the judgments and the depression that comes from the other side, that's from the animalistic soul. It's from evil, right? They're allowed to have controlling influence on a person, and the judgments can only be eliminated by sweetening them at their source through holy gevura. And that's why the sages said, a person should always make his impulse to get angry and his impulse to evil. What does it mean? Your Yetzer Tov should get angry with your Yetzer Hara. It means your Yetzer Tov should become bitter with what your Yetzer Hara made you do. You have to be bitter. You have to get angry and say, "How can I do this? I have to make the tshuva. What's wrong with me?" That's what it means. The Yetzer Tov has to get angry at the Yetzer Hara. What are you doing? Why did the Yetzer Hara let you do that? And then it'll spur you to do teshuva, and you'll get out of with listening to the Yetzer Hara. So you gotta always flip it. You gotta change it. That's the beauty. You gotta use the in Judaism we uplift everything. So how do you uplift depression? You use it as bitterness to make you do teshuva. And he says, you have to be an expert accountant of your deeds. That way you rid yourself of depression over material circumstances. So he's saying something deeper. He's saying that why do people get depressed? Why are people sad? They expected, right? They expected certain things and they don't understand why I didn't get. Why is my situation not like that? Like X? Why is it not like X? Why is it Z? So when you become bitter with yourself and judge yourself, what are you saying? You're saying, I did something wrong. I'm not perfect. Does a non-perfect person deserve everything? No. So you start realizing, maybe something's wrong with me. Maybe I don't deserve. Maybe why am I expecting? Who am I to expect? Like a humility that comes with it. And then you start being grateful instead of being expecting. So depression comes from a sort of gava, sort of haughtiness, like I deserve, I'm entitled. Why Hashem didn't give me? And then when you become humble, you start learning to be grateful. Oh, I realized I made so many mistakes. Maybe Hashem shouldn't have gave me even what I have now. I should have less. Chas v'shalom. Oh, I'm grateful. So therefore, you lose the depression. But how do you lose the depression? You have to first judge yourself. And that's why you have to use the holy gevura to judge yourself, to break out of that haughtiness, to realize you should be grateful and not expecting. Baruch Adonai Olam.